Good morning, students. As you know, we are discussing the life processes. First, we discussed nutrition, then respiration, and third one is the transportation. Life process in which the substances are carried from one part to the another part of the body is known as transportation. Now, we will study transportation in three subtopics like transportation in amoeba, that is diffusion, then in plants, how in case of plants the substances are carried from one part of the plant to another part, that is with the help of its vascular system. Vascular system means vascular bundles, that is xylem and phloem. And then in animals we have got circulatory system. Transportation in animals. If we see transportation in animals, we have got circulatory medium, that is blood, then blood vessels, arteries, veins and capillaries, and a pumping organ called heart. So all these three comprises and makes the transportation system or the circulatory system in animals. Now first let's start with the circulatory medium, that is blood. It is also called fluid connective tissue. We have read this in 9th class also, that it's a kind of a connective tissue and also called fluid connective tissue. In this, the fluid medium is plasma. Blood is equal to plasma plus some blood cells. Blood cells are RBC, WBC or platelets. Biologically, RBC is erythrocytes, WBC is leukocytes, and platelets thrombocytes. Now moving ahead to the functions of blood. Blood helps in transportation of various substances like respiratory gases, transport of nutrients, transport of waste products, and transport of the hormones. If we see transport of the respiratory gases, it will be like oxygen will be carried by the blood to the cell, and from the cell carbon dioxide, which is the gaseous waste, will be carried again by the blood to the alveolus. And you have read in respiratory system that alveolus is the site of exchange of gases. And how oxygen and carbon dioxide they are moving in the blood itself. Blood is the natural transport. It is a natural transporter and it transports the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. The only difference is oxygen is carried from the respiratory system to the cell and carbon dioxide is carried from the cell to the respiratory system so that it can be exhaled out. Then nutrients are also transported. You have read this in digestive system that the nutrients which pass to the blood from the small intestine, now they want to go to the cell. Cell is the destination of nutrients as well as the oxygen. So how they will go up to the cell? Cell is the destination, but how they will go? They need some pathway, and that is provided by the blood. Then waste products also, nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste are produced after the digestion of the protein. So now the body wants to get rid of this nitrogenous waste because it is toxic for the body. So this will also be transported via the blood only. Then hormones, we have read in 8th class regarding endocrine system, and hormones are there in our body which brings about many changes in the body. So all these things, may it be hormone, then respiratory gases, nutrients, waste products, everything is carried by the natural transporter called blood because it is the liquid medium of the circulatory system. Then coming to the next part of the blood, that is the blood cell, and a very important blood cell is WBC, white blood cell or leukocyte. They are called the soldiers of the body because of their defense against the infection. They fight back the infection. And another blood cell is platelets. Platelets helps in clotting of the blood. We will read about clotting of the blood in detail in next topic. Then plasma also transport food, carbon dioxide, nitrogenous waste. This we have already discussed. And RBC. RBC is red blood cell. Why it is red? Because of the presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin carries oxygen. Not only this, blood also maintains the body temperature. Now see, we have got WBC, the soldier of the body, RBC, which contains hemoglobin, and hemoglobin has a affinity to get combined with the oxygen. It carries oxygen. Okay, and not only this, it also regulates the body temperature. If you see, there are two things very important. One is oxygen and another is carbon dioxide. One NCERT question is like how they are oxygen and carbon dioxide, how they are transported. So you know they are transported to their destination with the help of blood only, but carbon dioxide gets dissolved in the plasma and it moves through the blood in dissolved form. But in the case of oxygen gets combined with the hemoglobin of RBC and then it goes to the cell. This is the only difference, that carbon dioxide that is soluble in plasma, it gets mixed up in the plasma and goes to the destination, whereas oxygen combines with the hemoglobin and then only this hemoglobin carries it to the destination, that is cell. So this is the only difference. Most of the things like hormones, carbon dioxide, food, nutrients, nitrogenous waste, all they move in dissolved form in plasma. Only oxygen, it gets combined with the hemoglobin and goes to the destination. Now next topic is blood clotting. The conversion of liquid blood into jelly form when blood vessels are damaged is called blood clotting. That is very important phenomena. When we get injured or we get hurt, then because of this platelets, after some times it stops bleeding, because platelet has a very important property of blood clotting. If platelets are not there in our body, then there will be a serious issue of a lot of bleeding after injury. So platelets are very important. Now see what happens during blood clotting. It is a complex phenomena, or we can say a series of chemical reactions happen in this process of blood clotting. First, injured tissues and platelets, both of them, whenever there is a injury or bleeding or cut is there at any point of the body, then both of these release thromboplastin. It is a substance, chemical, which is released whenever there is some injury, and platelets move to the site of injury, and then with the help of injured tissue they release a chemical called thromboplastin. This thromboplastin converts prothrombin into thrombin. Now you must be wondering, what is prothrombin? Prothrombin is a protein which is already present in blood. So that protein gets activated because thromboplastin converts prothrombin into thrombin. Now thrombin as a chain reaction again converts fibrinogen into fibrin. Again fibrin is also a protein which is present in the blood plasma. So these two proteins, prothrombin and fibrinogen, how you have to remember them? PF. So these two protein, prothrombin and fibrinogen, they are present in the blood plasma. The moment prothrombin gets thromboplastin, it gets converted into thrombin, and now the thrombin converts fibrinogen, the another protein, into fibrin. Fibrin are fine thread-like substances, and when they combine with RBC, they form a kind of a clot, and they block that site of injury, and after some time the blood stops flowing. So this is the mechanism of blood clotting. It's a series of chemical changes which are happening. You have to remember three very important things: two proteins which are already present in the blood, prothrombin and fibrinogen, and the release, first thing is the release of thromboplastin whenever there is some injury.